The engine's off and we are sailing!
But are we going in the right direction?
This is like the best first day of a passage we could have hoped for. I would say that worked.
We made genius.
5,000 miles!
We have lost our patience already, which is not a good sign when we're about to be at sea for 4 weeks.
Yeah, we really hope this works.
So I just got up and things have changed.
Well, I think it is safe to say that we have reached the doldrums. It's like we're proper real sailors now.
Last time on Red Seas, we overstayed our visa in Panama and got kicked out of the country with only 7 days to prepare for our Pacific crossing. We stocked up with extra diesel reserves, did a huge provisioning run, got our visas finalised for French Polynesia, and finally we cleared out the country, so we're ready to go.
And the day is finally here. We are off!
It's happening. We have to cover, what, 4,000 nautical miles. It's going to take us some time. 4 weeks.
Whoever knows
weeks,
how long.
A year.
A
We don't know.
while.
To aim for a tiny, tiny speck of land somewhere in the Pacific Ocean.
Let's do it!
Let's do it. All right, this is absolutely huge. So literally, we're saying goodbye to Panama, goodbye to the Americas, and eventually we're saying goodbye to the Northern Hemisphere. This is insane. And I'll be honest, I'm not sure we feel particularly ready yet, but I've heard on good authority that you never feel ready, so we're just gonna go for it. So what's the plan?
I'm just like wanting to get past all of this like marine traffic. It's so busy because the entrance to the canal is just right over here. So we just need to kind of get through all of this, wade through the soup of boats, round the corner, and then we're just gonna aim for the horizon, really. We're aiming for Galapagos. We're not allowed to stop. But that's our first kind of, our goal. It should take us about a week, we hope.
Okay, are we planning to motor the whole way?
I really hope not. No, once we get around the corner here, we'll put the sails up, get Genoa out at least, and hopefully we'll have enough wind to sail for like 3 or 4 days. We might need to motor then for a couple of days as we pass Galapagos and the doldrums really set in, but yeah, hopefully that's down to a minimum.
Hopefully.
We've done our best to time it right and get everything done before we go, and I'm just trying to soak it all in now. I feel like I haven't really thought about what we're doing because we've been so busy. So I'm just like, oh yeah, we're going to be at sea for a month. That's insane. It's weird. I don't think I'm ready.
Okay, so we're not through the forest of boats yet, but we have lost our patience already, which is not a good sign when we're about to be at sea for 4 weeks. But we've decided, screw this, we're going to put the Genoa out and just sail the last bit here through this really open channel, which shouldn't be a problem.
The engine's off and we are sailing! Oh, it feels so good. I know I can still hear the engines of all of the other boats around us, but we're not making any noise. And in a minute, we're going to be far away from all these things right out in the middle of the ocean, and we're just going to be like that forever and ever. This is so crazy. So we're only like 3 hours into the journey and we've already caught a fish. Woohoo! And there's a little bit of swell. Is it anything good?
It doesn't look too big. I think we're at like diagonal, John.
Ah, but the Pacific is supposed to be like huge, big, sharky-sized things.
All fish are shark size in the world. That's a small shark.
Looks like a barracuda.
Okay, so it turns out that actually fish from far away can seem smaller than they actually are. We pulled that in, it was actually a cerro mackerel, I think they're called, which look a little bit like tuna, but really skinny, and a little bit like barracuda, but not as bitey. And I think it's made up 6 meals, I think. 6 meals, give or take.
I've just squished some into the top of the freezer. There's like no space left. And we're gonna have to eat some of it tonight and some of it tomorrow because yeah, we cannot fit any more food on this boat.
So basically we didn't need to provision at all in Panama. We could just live off the sea.
Well, we could, because as I was filleting that one, we caught another one and I was like, we can't keep it. We just won't eat it in time. So 3 hours into the journey and 2 fish.
Yeah,
We're
and the good
doing
news
well.
is we gave that one back, but also, unlike, is it mahi-mahi, I think, they travel in pairs. These guys, I don't think they do. So.
Not as far as I know.
And it was quite long, it was a good 10, 15 minutes after we got the first fish that the second came in. So we did let it go back into the sea, and I think it's happy. I think. I hope it lives a very long and happy life. So I just got up and things have changed.
This is like the best first day of a passage we could have hoped for. Like, it's just been slightly more wind than we were expecting, which is a good thing. So we've been making really good time. This is day 2 now. We've been going about 24 hours and made 149 miles. We didn't quite get the 150.
Come on.
But the sea is like super calm. Winds dropped from 25 to 15 to 20. So we're going to try and put the spinnaker up and see if we can get a little bit more speed. I mean, we're going at like 6.5, 7 knots. So we don't need the extra speed, but we're going to try it, right?
You do it because you can.
Exactly. Well, that wasn't the way we intended to put the spinnaker up, but she's up and flying. You happy?
Yeah, I think so. It's always funny when you get the spinnaker up at first, right? Because we put it up and we go, great, it's full of wind. But are we going in the right direction?
Yeah.
So, yeah, we're still tinkering with like fine tuning between the guy lines and the sheets and making sure it's like positioned right. But
Yeah, when we first like lift the sock, it doesn't really feel like we have much control. So it's like, Indy, where would you like to go? And she just veers off to one side or the other.
pretty much, which the whole of the Pacific Ocean and a container ship turned up right as we did that. So I bet it looked really good as we just flailed around with some random washing bouncing around the place.
I was thinking if they were watching, it would have looked quite cool with the whole spinnaker just going woof. I mean, if they only looked at the end.
Till to the end.
The wind has died a little bit overnight, so we've had to be running one of the engines. We've motor sailing fairly slowly, which is not great news, but it means that we get to try out a system that we designed before we left, and yeah, we really hope this works.
We really hope this works.
Okay, tell us what you're doing.
It's going to be perfect. So,
I'm gonna come this side because you're a bit shadowy.
okay. So we have mountains of extra fuel on board, right? So we left with the 2 full tanks, 2 55-gallon drums, and 4 6-gallon yellow jerry can things. And so we have lots of fuel, but we need to be able to get all of it into the tanks, which the engines actually use. And so we decided the best way to do that was to do it with a drill.
Yeah, of course.
Kind of. So actually an impact screwdriver, which is kind of the same deal. So yeah, what we have is one of these things, which you might have seen before there. Basically, it's a pump. It's just a paddle wheel inside here, and it connects up to this screwdriver bit. And it means that we can connect some hoses, and then we've got basically a pump that runs through these 2 hoses. So
It's very cool when it works.
when it works, it's very cool. So you put one end in the jerry can and one end in the fuel tank, and then we just send it through.
Yeah, so hopefully that means that we're not like leaning over the side with a heavy jerry can, spilling it everywhere or dropping the entire thing over the side.
Yes, this is one of the design flaws of Indy, is that she wasn't really made for refueling
Underway.
underwear at all. The filler caps are on the outside of the boat, which is really stupid.
Yeah. All right, we're gonna give it a go. Let's see if this works. I would say that worked.
We made genius.
That worked really well.
That's actually perfect. Not a drip has been wasted. And now we just have to fill up that jerry can from our giant blue barrels, and it becomes like the transfer conduit, because we do have enough hose to be able to do it from the blue barrels to here, but I just feel that'd be a waste of hose.
Yeah, and we need to get some exercise carrying that jerry can 3 meters from
Yeah,
the
a little
cockpit
bit.
to here.
Not much exercise. But that's got to be the fastest fuel transfer ever.
I know, right? Okay, let's try stage 2.
Stage
Blue barrel.
stage two, people. All right, stage 2, we did a little bit differently because these barrels are so big. We had to create something else.
Oh, I even forgot about this.
We created the Go Juice pole.
Go juice!
So the Go Juice pole is a piece of old pipe that looks quite clean. You might have to wash it a little bit. It's a bit of old pipe that we had lying around, but then we didn't want to pick up the muck off the bottom of the barrel, so we drilled some holes at the pickup point so that it'll sit on the bottom of the barrel, and then we'll suck from here rather than from here.
Yeah,
And then it's just the right length to go inside the barrel, and then we can take out the fuel.
it's as if we planned it.
All right, so these barrels were used in soap manufacturing, and so we don't actually have the key to open them, but
We can make it work.
yeah, there's always a way. All right. Diesel. Go stick goes in.
Go stick goes in, doesn't reach the bottom.
Perfect. And then we just need to get the transfer solution, which goes in. And then the other end just needs to go into that yellow jerry can, which can sit right here in the seat. Okay. This goes there. Okay, you hold that end, I'll hold this end.
Good. Okay.
And
How will we know when it's full?
then it'll bubble over onto your hand.
Excellent.
Okay, transferring. Up it comes.
It's working.
And it goes. High speed!
Woo! This is such exciting TV.
I mean, something's going to go wrong, so at some point it's going to be exciting.
Oops, it filled up really quickly at the end and got a tiny little bit of diesel on the camera, so I had to turn it off really quickly and clean that up. But the system works.
Success! That counts. I mean, probably shouldn't have set off not knowing if it was going to work, but, but it
We
worked.
figure it out.
So now we just store this one back on the rail. Our freshly made tank rail.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
So freshly made, we haven't actually finished it.
It makes it look like we're proper offshore sailors, though, when we've got a tank rack.
Oh, yeah.
Beautiful. Made to measure. Okay, order is restored, engines are off, spinnaker is up, and Ian has a challenge.
So before we left, I ordered up a whole pile of new lures that you laughed at me for.
I did, I absolutely did, because I've never seen you so organised.
They're so monstrously huge.
They're bigger than the fish we normally
They're
catch.
bigger than fish because my hope is we'll catch big fish. And I did some research for the colour coding of them based on time of day. So I'm going to put it in the kind of midday colours. You could do a blue, but I'm going to go green because I'm going to be lazy and not pick this out a lot.
No, you've got to take this seriously. Come on now.
I'm going to be asleep, so you're going to have to pull it over and catch. It's up to you, but I think green is a good colour. It works every time for us.
That is absolutely a monster hook.
It's a beast. I'm not sure what we're going to catch and if we'll have to draw it in or if we'll rip our arms.
I know, right?
So we'll do that on one of our lines, and then I have a slightly smaller. I keep the green one on here as well, actually. I have a smaller size, smaller hook of the same design.
Okay, we'll see which one is more effective. Good luck.
Time to catch the dinner. Okay, Pacific Monsters. Come to me.
You're such a pro.
Take it back out.
There she goes. Ian's just gone down for a little nap, and I'm just whiling away the afternoon listening to the sound of the waves and not doing terribly much else, to be honest. The wind has changed angle a little bit, so we're still making 6 knots, but we're making a much better angle towards Galapagos. So rather than aiming right for the center of the country that we're not allowed to enter, we're going to come around the bottom, I think, and come just south of it before we head west across the rest of the Pacific. The sun is streaming down, so I've put the sunshade up so that I'm in shade and not getting sunburned. And most excitingly, our miles tracker has just ticked over to 435.9, which I realise doesn't sound very exciting. But when you add that together with all of the other miles that we've sailed on Indiaco, that adds up to 5,000 miles. 5,000 miles that we have sailed on this boat. That is crazy. It's like we're proper real sailors now. It's funny actually, because this journey is about 4,000 miles, so we will almost double our mileage by the time we get to the other side. But yeah, traditionally sailors get a tattoo of a swallow at this point, and I don't see any tattoo artists around, but I'm going to do my best. It may not be the most recognisable swallow, but maybe if I label it, people will know what it is. I did my best, okay? So far, things are going pretty well. We're just about settling into the rhythm of things now. We're working on 8-hour shifts, so that means that we get a proper sleep when it's our turn not at the helm, and every second day it means that is overnight. Well, that's the plan anyway. We're going to see how we run with it. We don't really stick to shifts as strictly as that. We prefer to just go for as long as we can when we're awake at the helm and swap out when we need to. We find that keeps us more refreshed and able to cope better when we catch a fish or when we have to douse the spinnaker or things where 2 of us are needed at the same time. That kind of screws up any set shift pattern that we have. So because it's only the 2 of us on board, yeah, we find that we usually would work on a 6-hour pattern, but 8 hours seems to be doing quite well at the moment. There's kind of less to do when we're out in the middle of the ocean. We can really settle in and get comfortable and know that we're not going to miss anything. So that has definitely saved our energies for a longer trip like this. It has made all the difference in the world. Well, I think it is safe to say that we have reached the doldrums. The sea is absolutely calm and flat. The wind has dropped to, I think, 4 knots. We have rather optimistically still got a Genoa out, and I think we're making about 1.8 knots of progress, which is mostly current. Mostly current, exactly. We're not really sailing at this point, but we're just bobbing our way across. I think it might be time to put an engine on at some point. We're never going to get there if we just try and drift like the Kon-Tiki raft. Because the wind isn't even coming from behind us, which is really weird, right? Yeah. I was expecting this to be mostly downwind sailing, whereas right now the wind is actually quite close to like 30 degrees. Yeah, it's kind of swirling around just outside the Gulf of Panama. So if we can get to Galapagos, then we should sort of meet the trades, and then we should be downwind and going in a straight line. But until then, we've got no idea where we're going. Yeah, well, we know where we're going, just we're not going where we want to be going. That too. So, yeah, iron sails, I'm doing it, I'm calling it. Put this thing away, it's useless. Boo!